when you get to a point where you feel like you've drawn most of your parts of your project and now you're ready to go in and do some fine detail, now's a good time where you could be like a little bit more creative. You don't have to include every detail. You're only human, and it's meant to be like a drawing. It's not meant to be like a photographic copy. It's meant to look drawn and have some artistic elements to it. So I'll give you like kind of a look of what this looks like underneath so you can see all the beautiful detail on this bird. And you'll notice the student went in and made just like a big blue box for the sky. So your background isn't like too complex. It's just that blue box there, which is nice. So very pretty bird, tons of detail. Does the student need to include every little like speck of detail from these feathers? No, and we shouldn't. It's nice to include some of the detail from like the branch underneath, the log situation. So I'm going to talk like about that area today. So I'm going to specifically bring back the log just so we can focus on that. And you can see that I started to add some kind of details to it. There's a ton of different options, which is cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer on top when I work. So that way, if I don't like what I do, I can scrap it and pretend it's never happened. So I created a new layer. And then when I want to go in and do little baby details, you could still use your pen tool. That's cool with me. But if you want it to be a little bit more loose and less exact, you could use your paintbrush or you could go in and use your pencil. So I'm going to show you two options. Your paintbrush is right here. I'm going to go in with more of a brown, and I'll use my stroke here as well. And there's lots of different brush types here, and that's in this nice little drop down over here. So these are some standard ones, and I know some of them you're like, oh, that doesn't seem very fancy, but that one wasn't too exciting. It tapers a little at the end. So test out these because you never know if you're going to like them or not. But I tend to go down to this list. I like this sort of like chalk version. Or you could hit this nice little library here, and it says artistic. I like the chalk charcoal pencil. I picked that one. You'll see it pop over there. And I could go in and just kind of draw these rough lines. I could do lots of different browns. If it goes off the edge of the paper, it will never print. So if I want to be kind of sloppy over here and go off the paper like that, no one has to know, no one has to care. Maybe I want to go in later and I'm going to select two of them. And I'm going to make the stroke a little thicker on those. I could even change the little width profile. We talked about like the little football effect. So that kind of tapered my end, which is fun. So I can go in and just create like a little bit of a texture. And I can look underneath, but I'm not looking to kind of copy what's there. If you want to, feel free. But this is really more to just give us the illusion of it having some kind of like really rough texture for his little talons to grab into. So that's paintbrush for you if you're interested. That one's usually not too tricky. I find the only thing that really trips people up is you got to make sure you're on a layer that's not hidden. You also have your pencil, which is similar to, but keep in mind, the tricky part about the pencil is if I draw over it, sometimes it will change the line. It depends. Yeah, see how it moved from one to another. So if you're doing a lot of overlapping, it may not be the best tool for you. So that's just another option, but some people have more preferences than others. Maybe a thin brush would be great if I wanted to outline a few of the edges of my little feathers here. But again, you have to use your judgment to decide on the parts that are probably the most dramatic, perhaps like here. And I definitely want that to be thicker, so I'll increase my stroke. And I know it seems trivial, but sometimes it just looks so like Microsoft Paint if you have that sharp edge. It makes me sad. So when you use this uniformity and you choose like the football or something else, you get like a nice wavy tapered effect. And friendly reminder, if I wanted to pick up this exact black gray shade over here, what tool could I use to pick up the exact color from the photo? Eyedropper, fantastic. Okay, so I could pick it up that way. It made it a fill, so I'm just going to change it to a stroke. May have to adjust my uniformity again and thickness, but I can get my effect that way. Okay. I'm going to bring back the other stuff so you can get a little idea of what's going on here. And the details are coming together. Of course, there's just a moment of details here, but it's starting to look really nice. Do you have any questions about some of the stuff I've gone over so far? Okay, this is just really more like to make things look kind of fun and even. And I guess I'll show you one more thing just because I can see some of my lines are going over my birdie. So I'm going to drag this layer so it's right above the log. So all those little lines get hidden behind the bird. All right, ready to go? Excellent, let's do it.